Hello, everybody. Today the plan is to go through some of the ideas that we have for the final project. I've been working with some other teachers on developing this, and here's what we have so far. We wanted to get you some information now so that you can start kind of thinking about this, particularly if you have free time during your week, if you're getting assignments in and you have extra time and you're bored. We will end up at the end of the semester having probably a couple of weeks where we're really focused in on this as the primary work, but you could start gathering some information and kind of having this as a background assignment as you go. Big picture, here's the idea. We are going through events that are uh, obviously a big deal in everybody's lives. And these are impacting people in lots of different ways, depending on, what your experiences are. And that is the key to what we've been talking about all semester long in American history, right? This is something that will show up in textbooks at some point, and we want you to document the experiences that you're having. So you could think about this like it's a time capsule from the spring of 2020, when we were all going through this craziness, right? So if you can try to put yourself in the mindset of somebody 20 years from now, you're going to be an adult. And what happens when a person that was not alive in this year says to you, what was it like living during the COVID-19 pandemic? Um, so we're going to do kind of a combination of both personal reflection and your experience, and also some academic analysis. You're going to have lots of choices how you want to put things together. So, the simplest way is probably putting together a deck of Google Slides, and you can incorporate all kinds of things in slides. The second way you could do this is to put together a website. You can use Google Sites, or there's other web creators that you can use. You could create a video in WeVideo. There's lots of ways that you can do this. The idea is that it's going to be a mix of text and visuals, and it'll show us quite a bit as far as how you approach some of these questions. So, what's going to be part of the project? Number one, it says information about COVID-19. So we are looking for you to do a little bit of research and look at what is going on not only in Minnesota or Burnsville, but also in other parts of the United States or even around the world. So the first part is really about facts and information. So you're going to put together, if it's slides, probably multiple slides, or multiple pages in a website if you want if you go with the website, talking about the virus itself, how the virus spreads, number of cases, the number of deaths, how governments are responding, how this is impacting people in terms of unemployment. You could even get into environmental things. There's all kinds of things that you can talk about here. So we want you to do some research. Notice it says we're looking for a works cited list for where you're getting your information, so that's going to be important. Part two of the project is a personal reflection, and depending on the way you're putting this together, you could write this up on a Google Doc, or this could be spoken. And there are ways that you could record yourself and kind of describing your experience. But the part two is really about your experiences during this time period, and you could even compare your experience with how other people are experiencing this. So this is really more of the personal part compared to the informational part from part one. We've been doing these discussions, and this might be a starting point, going back and looking at some of the things that you've posted, to kind of generating some personal reflection. Notice we're looking for at least a couple of pages, double spaced. If you're writing, 3 to 5 minutes of spoken description. If you're doing audio version of this. And then part 3 is primary sources. So we want you to try to find a number of different kinds of sources that either you create or you find in some way. So one primary source could be an interview where you talk to a family member or a friend about the experiences that you're having. Another kind of source could be photographs that you are taking or that other people have taken um, of what this looks like. You could find videos or you could take videos from your phone. And then the third kind that we were thinking is even memes that are related to the pandemic. So these kinds of primary sources give people a sense of, what this was like. So we're looking for at least 3 different types of sources, and depending on what you do, you could have multiple interviews if you want, or you could have, multiple photos, but we want some different kinds of sources included. The purpose of the primary source section of the project is to give an accurate portrayal of what life is like during this time in American history. So think about varying the subject of your selections. So we're trying to get, a broad picture of what this looks like. And then the last piece is the academic analysis. So this is where we're having you make some connections to American history. And so there are several prompts here. We're looking for 1 to 2 pages of analysis. Down below at the bottom of this, you can see the points breakdown. So this will go into the summative category. You're going to end up with, I think we've decided, 2 unit assessments and then the final project for your summative grade for quarter 4. So this is worth a pretty significant number of points. We started you with some links to a number of sources that could get you a good jump start on this, but you have Google at your disposal. One thing you're going to want to do is making sure that you're getting good sources, particularly for the first section. We want to have credible sources for our material. Once you get down into primary sources, if you're creating them yourself, then those are obviously personal. But if you're finding information, videos, images, etc., online, you're going to want to probably tell us where you got those things. So you don't have to worry about this today necessarily. We're not going to have you turn anything in today, but it is April 27th. And pretty soon we're going to be in May by the end of the week. So we want you to put this somewhere in the back of your mind so you can start thinking about, now that I have this thing and that's going to be my final project, how am I going to approach this? You might start to think about which presentation method do you think makes the most sense for you? Are you going to work in slides? Are you going to make a website? Are you going to make a video? How are you going to put this together? And then start thinking about maybe primary sources, start thinking about maybe information, gathering information, so that when we get to the part where we're putting this all together, you have some places to start. So that's enough for now. As we move forward, we will talk in more detail about some of these things, and we'll start having you gathering materials and showing us that you're putting some things together. I guess that's it for now. If you have questions for me, you can always send me emails, and I can do what I will do what I can to help you with that. Otherwise, have a good afternoon. Make sure you're checking in for the assignments for the week. If you click on materials over on the left-hand side right here, that will bring you to today's agenda page and then the assignments for this week. Have a good afternoon.